Welcome back. In this video we are going to check out some more advanced techniques for using geometry brushes. I really want to say BSP, but it's called geometry now. And those are going to be a pen tool, an extrude, a brush clip, and a lathe. I'm going to call it a spin modifier. That's how it's called in a blender. It's basically the same thing if you know what the spin modifier is. And let's start with something simple. First of all, I want to grab those materials that we used to use. Okay, start with the blue one. Make a floor. Drop this down and make it in the center and make it I don't know, 3000 centimeters, and bring this reflection capture bit up. It is going to want to be rebuilt. Okay, so we have a floor. And where do we start? Let's start with extrusions, I guess. I will grab this material for extrusions. It's not going to matter that much in a second. Let me bring it here. And I will want to also make it smaller on what axis do I want? On X, yes. Let's say 100. Actually, let's make this also 100. Okay, let's do extrusion. So, select your brush, go into brush editing or press Shift F5. And you have to select some face to get started and click extrude. Now, if you're doing this for first time, I already did a messed around with extrusion before. So if you do an extrude, it's going to ask you if you want to accept that it's only in a local space, but that doesn't matter. That's talking about this. So if we bring this up, further up, we're going to make it bigger, right? And before we extrude it, I want to make something that's actually, we already made a doorway, but let's make another one. So we'll make it this far, and then I'm going to go into extrude mode and bring it up, and you will see in a second why I did it that way. And maybe even further, but not extrude, just bring it up. You have to go in between these modes, go into extrude, and maybe bring this thing like this, and then extrude it one more time, and then bring it down. You have to extrude it downwards, and there you go. You have some kind of doorway. And if we apply the same material, we could also grab cylindrical brush, and it needs to be a bit bigger. So I think it's going to be radius of 250 to make it flush with our door, and rotate 90 degrees. Bring it inwards. I guess we'll have to snap to 50, I think. Okay, we can also make it 100 in a Z. Make it completely flush with our door, and then bring it upwards and make it subtractive. We could even do something like this, but it looks weird. To be honest, I think this should also go a bit further up, so you can go select, control select, not shift select if you want to select multiple. And there we go. You have another doorway that's a bit more optimal than the previous one that we made, because we're using 2 brushes to make it. And we used to use 3 brushes to punch the hole down here. But guys, there is even better way to make this. You can make this with just 1 brush. So for this, we'll have to go into orthographic viewport. So you click in this minimize, maximize button for viewports, and go into one of views, I think. Let's actually, it's kind of bummer that, come on, I'm pressing F. Why don't you want to? Yeah, we have to select it in orthographics viewport or orthographic views. So we'll probably go into the left view. By the way, I'm pressing middle click and that's giving me the ruler here, but I wanted to right click actually. So we'll go into this view. Now we could actually check how long this is. It's 700, so maybe I'll build the one that's also 700. That's to here, I guess. So we are going to use the pen tool. So you click on pen tool and you can draw a custom shape. And I already messed around with it. That's why my extrusion depth is 100. It's going to be 256 for you, but I will make it 100. And we're going to draw this thing here. So you start drawing by pressing spacebar. Okay, press spacebar. I don't know why I don't want to select anything. Press spacebar, go up. I think this was 700 and like this. And then if we wanted to, we can draw it from one go. If we go here, then I guess I have to go here. I'm looking at my template there. How many? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then maybe like this. I'm going to make a mistake here, I think. Yeah, as you can see, this is not good. I will press escape twice to go back twice, and I keep pressing spacebar to draw new vertices. And spacebar, is this okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 on this side. Go downwards, and if we want to close it, just press enter. And there we go. Let's hop into our viewport. I actually didn't draw it in the same place, but look at it, guys, that's the same thing, isn't it? Just missing the material. It might not come as good as this one did. This one is also not perfect because this is not aligned, but on this side it's aligned. Interesting. Last time made more mess. But if that happens, just press Shift B, select the whole brush, go into align and planar to get a perfect result. Now you have just one brush that works. You have a doorway with one brush. That's pretty awesome, to be honest. That's probably the most optimal way to make a doorway. I mean, if you wanted a really nice looking doorway here with more sides to be rounded, then this would be really painful. But if you want something like this, then yeah. And you really wouldn't want to build anything that's too complex, because this is something that's going to be replaced. This is just to get the feeling how big things should be and to play test your levels. So this is perfectly fine. You don't have to go too crazy. Like we could have gone here and Control Shift click to select the brush and go like this. Maybe bring it up. But that's a super overkill, not needed. So this one is way better way to do it. I'm actually going to delete that one also, because we're going to move to the next thing. So we covered extrusion, we covered edit, we covered pen. Let's get brush clip. For brush clip, I'm going to make a new brush and going into doesn't matter which view, to be honest, for demonstration purposes. Into brush clip. Brush clip cuts your brush. So you can either split it, flip normals, or cut it. It matters from which side you start drawing. So if I press spacebar, you have to actually select your brush that you want to cut. Press spacebar, it's going to cut in this direction. Press enter, and it's cut in this direction. So let's check what that has done. It might look like it hasn't done anything. If that happens, go into build and build geometry for current level. There we go, that worked. I'm not sure if you can undo this operation, probably cannot. Okay, so if we bring another box and go back here, I think I started drawing from this side. Let's start drawing from a different side. Brush clip. To be honest, I never used this feature, but I wanted to show it off. And you see, we cut it off on a different side. Still, build geometry. There we go. And there's also one more option. I should have brought 3 boxes right away from the get-go. Have one more option. For last time I tried it, it didn't really work that well. So let's focus on this one. Brush clip, we can split. So it doesn't matter from which side we draw. I think it doesn't matter. Oh, now I see why it didn't work. If I press space bar, it's keep ticking and unticking this thing. That's why it didn't work. We press enter. It should, when I build, does nothing. I think it should split your geometry into geometry brushes, and I think it worked once for me, but kinda doesn't. Either way, I don't think you will need this feature that much, but it's there if you need it. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is Lathe, and actually I had a few attempts at this to get something out of it. I don't use that tool. This kind of, if you're going to use something like that, you're probably should be going into your 3D modeling application. But you can get some use out of this tool, but to use it, you have to know about a few things. First of all, it doesn't matter what we actually use. I could use even a basic shape, but I want to show you how pivot points work. So if we go into one of, let's say, top view, it doesn't matter that I have regular cube or BSP cube, just for difference. If I alt middle click, I just alt middle clicked here, and I go into rotation, I'm going to rotate about that point, basically. That's what pivot point is. We're adding a new pivot point. And you shouldn't really rotate your BSP brushes like that, because you're going to run into troubles. And we need that pivot point because this thing says create a geometry by rotating the selected brush shape about the current pivot point. So we need a pivot point, but before that we need a brush shape, a custom one. And to do that we need a pen tool. And I'm going to go into a left view. So I can draw a profile of a pillar. I'm going to make a pillar. And you have to select this create brush, and this doesn't really matter when you're doing this. Create brush shape, and you start drawing, and you should make something. Press space bar, and you see this is actually being green. I don't really recommend going in angular because it's going to mess with you. That's why I had few recordings. So I'm going to go maybe like just one, then go like this, then maybe go like this, then go upwards, then go like this, maybe like this, then like this, then I maybe bring it like this, and then let's say we go 3 upwards, then we're going to mess around with upper part a bit. Go like this, this, then maybe like this. I don't know, have fun with these guys. No, we don't want to angle it. maybe like this, and then bring it here and just press enter to finish this thing. And hopefully this won't mess it up. Maybe it will, because I'm not too sure about this thing going on here. But last time it didn't want to work, and one before that it worked. But then I messed up something else. So let's see if we make something out of this. So I'm going to switch to Lathe, and this works by rotating this brush that we made. So if we go to perspective view, we see that that's just a profile of the thing that we want to make. And if I go in a top view now and select the thing, and we're in Lathe, and we need to add a pivot point, so I will add the pivot point here. So Alt middle click, and if I click apply, this is what I got the last time. I think that's because we have a really complicated brush, and I'm not going to start over. Let's try to make a simpler brush and see if it's going to work. So this is actually, I guess, a showcase on what not to do. So let's make something that's way more simpler. So I'm going to go maybe like this, then go like this, and like this, and actually let's bring it here, then go up. Well, to kind of repeat what we did here. So I'm not sure if how many. That was 2, 1, maybe if I didn't mess it up, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Okay, so this looks to be way simpler. Let's go into Lathe and go into top view, and we should be rotating around this. So middle click and set it up. Oh man, it works. It finally works. Let's go into perspective so I can show you what we made. Okay, here it is. The other one doesn't work, but this one does. So we have some kind of pillar thingy going on. And let's make it a full pillar, I guess. So let's go into this one. This is the other one. Yeah, I want to remove it. Actually, I don't want to remove it. I want to Alt-Z first, then we're going to remove it. Alright, let's grab this. So we can say how many times do we want to generate the mesh. So 16 times. And how many meshes actually, this is how the total segments are, how many the total will have if we say, and how much segments. That what we did is just 4 segments out of 16, and now we're going to 16 out of 16, so 360 degrees. And if we apply it, we need to have a pivot point, so it messed up here, and apply it, we are going to get a full pillar. We go into perspective. Probably should have used the other way. We got some kind of pillar. It's pretty ugly, but I don't know. And what you could do probably is Shift B and align. I don't know if planar will work this time. And it's being a bit weird and laggy, to be honest. It kind of works, but I should get out of this mod. Maybe that's why it's being weird. Let's try box projection or surface fit. This one looks to be better a bit. Floor probably doesn't work, or walls. Planar. Default. Default seems to actually work. But either way, it doesn't look like it's that good. You could also bring up this segment, so if Alt Z enough times and go into... No, I messed this up, so this should be top. If we go up and back to light and Alt middle click, and let's say 32 by 32 segments, and say apply, it's going to look a bit better. And you have also this align to sides that could help with how the brush is being drawn. So this one is a bit better, but still the alignment is pretty off. So we could try that trick there that I just told you about. So if I alt click here and align to sides and apply, we are going to have this extra geometry there, and that actually might help with alignment of the texture. So that kind of looks better, to be honest. But still, you might find some use for this. I really doubt that you should be using this. If you need a pillar, simply bring one of the... Well, you can use Cylindrical Brush and have it that way. And to be honest, like cutting this stuff, maybe not that useful. You might find some use about rotating a profile. But as you've seen, if the profile is a bit complicated and if it's angled, I think it can make a mess, so it might not even work. So it's there, use it if you want, but just know that it's not going to give you always what you wanted. So that's kind of a deal. And we also haven't looked at stairs and stuff like that. That's going to be a bonus video in the next video. So guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down, so I know that you didn't like something. But the better thing is to do is write me a comment what you don't like before you hit that dislike button. And make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos. So see you in the next one.